Welcome back. Before we went on that break, I said we're going to talk about the non-oil sector. Agriculture has been there's been a lot of talks around agriculture. Dr. Teriba, we can maximize the potentials in for instance, the agriculture sector.
Right. The potentials, of the Nigerian agricultural sector.
We're doing rice now. We're looking at, being self-sufficient. That's what the government said. By this year, we shouldn't be importing rice anymore into Nigeria. We're looking at making wheat, even for wheat, 2019, 2020. So how do we maximize some of these potentials, as I said?
Right. Agriculture in Nigeria is about 1/5 of the economy. So you're talking about a sector that produces more than 20 trillion, well above 20 trillion in a year. So it's not, you can't reduce it to rice and wheat. There are more, we are talking of 20 trillion. And the constraints on agriculture are largely infrastructural. Unless Nigeria can fix transport and energy infrastructure, our agricultural sector will hold the promise, but we will only realize that promise when infrastructure works. That's the long and short of it. So Nigeria has very rich, agricultural, resources. Some of it being exploited to the tune of a little above 20 trillion. But you need a transportation system that works, in particular rail transportation, for getting the produce rapidly to the market and getting the inputs to the farm. You need energy infrastructure, to ensure that value can be added, when necessary for some of the produce. You need to process them, shortly after harvest. And so transport and energy, transport and energy is very vital, and as long as you have disruptions in the supply of that, you just be looking at the promise that actualizing them is going to be, how many crops do you want to take piecemeal and fix? Well, we've taken rice piecemeal. We seem to have fixed that. We tried tomato. I'm not sure that we were very lucky with tomato, but you are looking for a solution to all. You are not looking for isolated solutions.
Since you mentioned tomato, Dr. Teriba, I remember in the early 80s, there was a company whose head office was in Igomo, and they used to make tomato puree. They had farmland in the north where they cultivated tomato, and they made it into made in Nigeria tomato puree, tomato paste, what we call tin tomato. But in a few short years, they disappeared, and that was that. And I believe that right now, all the tomato puree consumed in this country is imported.
Well, I don't have the facts, of how individual companies are faring, but Nigeria was trying to fix tomato, just like we were trying to fix rice. But it's clear that while the rice, effort has been successful, perhaps there's more to do on the tomato.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what does it mean that our rating in the ease of doing business index has improved? We have gone from, I think, 165 to 145 or something. How is that translating into helping our economy recover?
Well, it's translating into making our economy more attractive to investors.
Are they pouring in?
Well, I would say yes. You have heavy presence of foreign investors across key sectors of the economy, financial system, telecoms, oil and gas.
We're so low compared to Ghana. I mean, the last figure is about $3.5 million. Ghana is in billions.
Billion.
Half billion, or yeah.
Yeah.
Ghana
Well,
is
it's not
billion, so
it's ease of doing business is about encouraging, investors. It's a perception.
Yes.
Is key. So it's better that we make ourselves look good to investors, than we looking the way we were looking. So we've gained 20 steps. We should, support the effort of the government to try and gain more steps. So gaining one step, 20 steps, is good, but continuous improvement is better. Although that's only a part of the story. It's not
the full picture.
All of the story. Yeah, because we make ourselves look good to investors. You have foreign investors in many sectors, but there are a few sectors that are key where we largely shut foreign investors out.
Mm-hmm.
And you would want to see the same effort in ease of entry for businesses into infrastructure sectors. These sectors are not small. So you only have a few sectors in which government has liberalized infrastructure, notably telecoms. Most of all other infrastructure are still 100% government monopoly. So you're making business easy to do, but you are making entry impossible. The direction in which progressive developing countries have moved is to liberalize infrastructure sectors. Well, we've done some stages in power, but the key stage, transmission, is still government monopoly. Rail is government monopoly. Pipeline is government monopoly. Education, most of the national network of education and health institutions are owned by government. And you would do better, as you've done better by liberalizing telecoms, for foreign investors to come in with their money and their technology. Our educational system will be better if government, liberalizes on their own holding. Our health sector will be better if government liberalizes on their own, their holding of the existing network. And so would it be in rail, so would it be in power transmission or gas pipelines. So you want a Nigerian government that embraces massive wholesale liberalization of infrastructure sectors. Just have it as a policy. Don't look for public-private partnership. Sell equity to foreign investors. Let foreign investors buy into those assets, just the way in which they are present in telecoms, they are present in LNG, they are present in oil exploration and production. Wherever foreign investors partner with government, they succeed, the sectors succeed. Wherever they are not partnering, partnering with government, those sectors are failing in power transmission, rail, and so on.
Dr. Adi, what about the manufacturing sector?
Yeah, I think that is a sore point, in this whole discourse. If you look at the PMI, I think the CBN is 50, FBN is 49.